The following architectural structure is the peristyle court, which is part of the Palace of Diocletian, located in Split, Croatia. Diocletian was a Roman emperor from 284 to 305 AD, and was most known for putting an end to the Roman Empire's most disastrous time period, in which over a 50-year span there were over 20 different rulers. This time period was known as the rule of the barracks emperors, in which emperors would seize power by virtue of his command of the army. Diocletian built this palace towards the end of his Roman rule, and would reside in this palace until his death in 312 AD, committing suicide. This peristyle court is an open courtyard within Diocletian's residence. A peristyle is a continuous porch by a row of columns surrounding a perimeter, or in this case, the courtyard. You can see here there are keystone arches located all around this courtyard. The arches were supported by columns, which appear to be of the Corinthian style. It is said that the enormous arched doorways was where Diocletian would enter and make ceremonial appearances, according to Marilyn Stockstad, author of Art History. On one side of the court, the doorways opened into Diocletian's mausoleum. On the other side, it opened onto the Temple of Jupiter. According to DiocletiansPalace.org, this peristyle court, as well as the palace itself, is one of the largest and best preserved examples of Roman palatial architecture, representing a transitional style, half Greek and half Byzantine.
This piece is called the Aphrodite of Knidos, and is a sculpture from the classical Greek era. Arguably the most famous work from the respective era, the work was done by Praxiteles, the leading Athenian sculptor of the classical period. The Aphrodite of Knidos is constructed of marble, and a gentle S-shaped curve outlines the stance of the statue. Art historians have branded this as the Praxitelean curve, in honor of the Aphrodite's creator. The sculpture depicts a naked Aphrodite, Greek goddess of love, emerging from a bath. Her right hand is covering her genitalia, and her left hand is clutching a garment. In the book, A History of Western Art, revised 4th edition by Laurie Schneider Adams, we are told that it is thanks to Praxiteles and the Aphrodite of Knidos that the female was brought into the Greek canon of beauty. As stated before, the Aphrodite of Knidos is Praxiteles' most famous sculpture. This is greatly in part to the fact that the statue is a nude female. Without context, this may come as a surprise. Naked sculpture was very common in Greek art. What made this sculpture different is that it is female. Up until this point, females were never depicted in the nude, so this is revolutionary, in a sense. A little history on the Aphrodite of Knidos. The sculpture was initially commissioned by the Greek city-state of Kos, but upon finding that the statue was in the nude, the citizens of Kos rejected it. The piece eventually found a home in the city-state of Knidos, thus resulting in the sculpture's name, the Aphrodite of Knidos. The purchase nearly bankrupted the city, but the statue would go on to become a tourist attraction and garnered much attention from around the classical Greek world. According to an article published by Brown University, the statue of the goddess of love is so famous due to the fact that it is one of the first sculptures of a female portrayed completely in the nude, a practice which until that time had been reserved for portrayals of males, such as the choros. Unfortunately, the sculpture no longer exists. It is widely speculated by historians that the statue was taken to Constantinople, or modern-day Istanbul, and was destroyed when the Palace of Lausus, where it was being held at the time, burned down. As stated before, the Aphrodite of Knidos normalized artistic depictions of women in the nude and brought a new twist to classical Greek art. In addition to that, it is widely recognized as one of the most copied sculptures in history. In fact, most of what we know about this piece is from studying Roman copies. The Aphrodite of Knidos was a revolutionary work of art for its time, and its legacy has far surpassed that of the late classical Greek era. The impact that this work of art had on the world can still be felt today.